Good morning, everybody. Welcome to AVANT GARDE at True Vision Television. My name is Jenna Marcos, and I'll be your host for today. Well, with me in the house is our very hardworking guest, Mr. Cyril Ibezim, who is the CEO of Green Capitals. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very
We're
much.
very happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here too.
That's very nice. So, can you give us like a run through on what your business is all about, like what Green Capital is all about?
Okay, so Green Capital is a power backup system company where we engage in providing power,
Okay.
providing support power.
Okay.
The power is not is a support to your already primary source of power.
Okay.
So we provide the power that supports the primary, the one we call AEDC.
Okay.
Then we also provide standalone systems for underserved areas too. So contemporarily we provide power for people.
Okay, so let's dive into solar energy. So, how would you describe solar energy to an ordinary person?
Yes, to an ordinary person, when you hear solar, what comes to your mind first is the sun for most people.
Okay.
So solar energy, I can say, is harnessing power from the sun.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, that's just it basically, harnessing
Basically.
power from the sun.
exactly.
Oh, okay. So, apart from clean energy, what other benefits are there in solar energy?
Yeah, for solar energy, there is no like what they say is clean energy.
Okay.
And the good thing about it is in abundance.
Mm.
So that is why it's called renewable energy. It
Okay.
renews itself. It's always available. It's always there for you to harness for.
Oh, okay. That's very nice to know. I know a lot of people do not really understand how it works and all that it entails. So, can you just break it down a little for
True.
us?
So a lot of people do not understand how it works. I totally agree with you. For from the times what we have also been doing installations from the customers we have met,
Okay.
from the prospective customers also, when they want, there is an inverter, there is solar, there is
Okay.
batteries. So for you to have a solar power installed for you, you need these three things. You need an inverter, you
Mhm.
need the batteries, then you also need the solar panel.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what the solar panel does is solar panel's job is to, of course, harness the power from the sun.
Okay.
Then when it harnesses this power, it needs to store this power somewhere, which becomes a storage system, which is where the battery comes in.
Okay.
So power is harnessed from the sun, stored on the battery. The inverter is what you use to now take from the battery or what is coming from the sun, convert from direct current, and then feed to alternate current in the house.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, unlike other children growing up, they knew what they wanted to do. Was it like that for you? Like you knew you were going to go into something like this?
Yes, growing up for me, I have always wanted to get my hand dirty. Let me put it that way. Sorry to use that
Okay.
word. So I always want to. I'm sort of inquisitive, so
Okay.
I want to know stuff. I want to I get my when I get toys, I try to assemble it and reassemble again and all of that. So I then started getting stuff like from my teenage age, electricals and all that. So I always had that interest for electricals.
Oh, that's very nice to know. So, give us a little bit an insight on your childhood, how your childhood was like, and how everything came about.
Well, childhood was as not always not easy for
Okay.
So of course I wasn't born with silver spoon, so
Mhm.
a lot of struggles here and there, but it also come in handy. It helped a lot because I grew up. I was born and bred in Warri, Delta State.
Oh, okay.
Then moved to Lagos. So all of the experiences schooled in Edo State, Benin City. So all of the experiences came in handy, and it helped me. It gave me a lot of diverse, idea of what I wanted to be. And I could also say that before I turned 18, I already knew what I would have wanted to be.
Okay.
Yeah, when I say I already knew, is I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I've always, had that, and I kept it somewhere in my mind that this is really what I want to go into because I want to see myself doing what I want, without so much distraction,
Okay.
doing, being creative, being able to explore my creative mindset.
Wow, that's very lovely. So we have heard of a lot of company that has to do with what you do, and there are lots of company over the 5 years that we have gone past. A lot have gone down, and they are no more functioning. So how have you been able to survive with the way things are going in our country today?
Okay, so to survive in this business first, you need two things.
Mm.
You need to be a trader
Mm-hmm.
and you need to be practicing.
Hope you guys are listening. Trader, practice it.
So when I say trader,
Yeah.
The trading part of it is what really keeps you in business in the real sense.
Oh,
That is what ensures that you do day-to-day activities
okay.
in terms of sales.
Okay.
So you need to. So what that means is you don't need to just reach only to the end users. You
Mm-hmm.
need to also reach to people we call the middlemen, which are like the installers or the
Okay.
electricians. You need to reach to them, and then for you to be able to support that, you also need to be practical. That is when practicing comes in.
Okay.
You need to be practical. You need to learn while you're trading, understand the pros and cons of your business,
Okay.
understand the technical part of your business, so that when there are issues, where there are areas where these middlemen need support, the middlemen, which are the electricians, can be the installers, can be the dealers, where they require support, you should be able to provide support to them, round the clock support. Even 2 a.m. you wake me or you call me on phone, I should be able to tell you something what to do.
Exactly.
So when you get to that level, you will find out that that alone is enough to keep you in business, because these people would be coming to you. I'm talking of the middlemen now, the
Mm-hmm.
installers, the electricians. They'll always want to get back to you or come back at you. Even if they're not buying from you, they come back to you for support, for technical support. So in a way, it has a way to. I used to say something that even if I relocate to Kebbi State today,
Mm.
I will still survive in what I'm doing.
Oh, really?
I will still survive in what I'm doing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I like the energy and how much you believe in yourself. A lot of people don't believe in themselves, and so it's very good to see someone that really believes in himself and is pursuing what he really loves. So,
Thank you.
our country, Nigeria, right now, I think we are very low when it comes to providing energy for ourselves. So, what do you think about Nigeria when it comes to the aspect of the solar energy and how we have been able to receive it into the country?
I think we solar energy in Nigeria is we have not really done anything.
Mm,
We have not done anything. I will say that because we have so much in abundance when it comes to sun power,
okay.
sun autonomy. In so many countries, the sun autonomy is less than 2 hours. In
Mm,
Nigeria, most of the places, most of the states, our sun autonomy is between 4 to 5 hours. We are
wow.
not really doing anything. We're not doing anything, and the government influence policies and what the government has done so far, it has not been able to reach the right audience. It is not reaching the right, should I say, the right players in the sector.
Okay.
So in some way, we have the problem is for most of the people that engage in this, some you find some of them are traders, some of them are just practicing,
Mm,
some of them are also just packaged. So but it's difficult to find someone who is practicing, someone who knows the technical know-how,
who is
someone who
experienced?
is experienced, someone who also know the business side of it,
Mm,
someone who can do a proper financial modeling to be able to deploy the right off-grid system, whether it is off-grid, whether it is hybrid. But at the end of the day, what the government, the end user, whoever that is using, you're deploying for, wants to see is the return on investment,
okay.
to be able to be sure that you're getting that return on investment, you're getting value for the money you have spent. In most of the projects we have seen, the few ones I've seen and some other ones, they are not, a whole lot of them is not being done rightly, both on the financial part of it and on the technical side of it.
Okay. So I'm sure you've worked with like a lot of people who are also into what you do. So how will you rate their own working skills and how is it different from yours?
Yes, I've worked with a lot of people. I've also come across a lot of jobs, so I've also learned from some of them also. We're not saying that we're perfect in what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing. We're saying that when you engage in the type of business you're doing,
Yeah.
you don't just engage in it as a trader. You should engage in it to learn. You should engage in it to improve your technical know-how, your capacity.
Yeah.
You are saying that the business you're doing is the business that you don't just go into it just to make money alone. While engaged in a business that today it can be regarded as an essential services. We're providing essential services. Power is a major problem. The other people we have engaged with and we've seen doing what they are doing. Yes, some of them are actually doing good. But some of them, a whole lot of them needs improvement. There are some of them who have also helped in terms of the technical side of what they do to help them beef up, and in terms of capacity. So yes, we have some couple of them who are doing the good job. But you find out that what I've also seen, that most of us that tend to do rightly are mostly operating in the private sector. We don't really get too much involved in what the government
Oh,
is doing.
okay. So most of them work with the government, so they are involved with government
No,
activities.
what I'm saying is, yeah, for a few of us that I know that are into this practicing and even trading,
Yes.
that can give you a
Very
very
good.
sound financial model of what we do. We are more focused on the private sector.
Oh.
Sorry to say that we don't really have too much interest in the government activities in terms of what they deploy for solar.
That's really something else. Okay. So, out of all the things you do, what aspects do you find interesting?
Yes, the aspect I find interesting is after sales. What I mean after sales is, for example, I have installed an inverter for you.
Okay.
I have deployed the solar system for you, and for one reason or the other, it's not as efficient as we have told you from the get-go.
Okay.
So I would always make sure, or we would always make sure to do anything to make sure that we go back to our drawing board, we go back to what we have told you. We want to take your system back to what the expectation is. So we go extra mile to ensure that you get value for your money, which is what the most important thing for us. For us, we believe that every closed business is another opportunity for us for a new business. So we try to make sure that for every opportunity, in fact, when we have cases like this, we take it as an opportunity to sell ourselves, to show capacity. That is the only way we would have shown you that we can be able to handle stuff like that. So technical is the most interesting part of what I do.
The most interesting part of what you do. That's very interesting. So, how well do you market your business? How are you able to send messages across that, yes, this is what we do, and you get customers to come to you?
Honestly, marketing has never really been my thing. Yeah, but people always say that I'm a very good marketer, but
Okay.
we have not really, invested in marketing. Let me put it that way.
Very
We have not
well.
invested. We have not even looked out to do adverts and whatnot. Our best form of marketing has always been referrals.
Oh, okay.
Referrals. Yes.
Okay. So you get from maybe someone you've worked with before, they tell
Yes,
someone about you.
I could say that 90% of our jobs comes from referral.
Wow, that's very impressive. But don't you think you need to start advertising it to get more people to
Yes, we
work with
think
you?
we think we need to start advertising. We need to, but we also think like this is we know for sure that the best way to show what you do is to advertise and put it out.
Yes.
So, but we also used to always tell ourselves that look, we're still under construction. We're still trying to get things right. We're still trying to put things together, and we also want to make sure that the existing customers, that we are being able to give them the right services, and while we are doing that, we keep improving. We'll get to a stage, definitely we would like to improve. Part of the improvement is to beef up and start the marketing itself, so that the other prospective customers out there will enjoy our services.
Very true. Well, what's on the street is that it's very expensive to get a solar energy system to work for you. So there are lots of people that are not opportune to have enough money to get what they need for it. So how are you helping them towards that aspect? How are you trying to help those who can afford it?
Okay, so what I always say is power is not cheap.
Okay.
Power anywhere is not cheap. In fact, Nigeria is a country where you find power cheaper than most countries. Here today, we spend about 64 naira per kilowatt from AEDC.
Okay.
So it's not cheap, but it's cheap compared to other African countries.
Oh.
So, but yes, the beautiful thing about deploying solar is that it's a one-time investment. That is why we were always particular about the ROI, return on investment. It's a one-time investment. You have a longer lifespan. So it's a project that you have to also plan for. And that is why you have to select the right people to deploy these systems for you. Because the system you're deploying is seemingly expensive.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get into the wrong arm. But in my opinion, if you say it is expensive, I wouldn't really agree with that.
Really?
It's not really that expensive if you look at it. It's not that expensive because
Okay.
you're deploying batteries that is going to last for 4-5 years. You're deploying solar panels that is going to last for 25 years plus. You are deploying inverters that is going to as well do 25 years plus. So if you look at the ROI, you wouldn't really say it's expensive. But yes, it's a one-time expenses that you have to plan for, you have to budget for. Once you get it right, you
And
would
it's
agree.
worth it.
And it's worth it. You would agree that it's worth it.
All right, thank you. Okay, guys, we'll be going on a quick break and we'll see you guys after the break.
The Gen YZ trendsetters, pushing new ideas, redefining the present, architecting the future. They are radical, innovative, unconventional, disruptive, yet focused. They cut across gender, creed, or cradle, and are found in every sphere of life, every field of human endeavor. They share certain values, paramount among which is a desire to shake off orthodoxy and to impact positively on the society. Failure is alien to their imagination, I can imagine. Success is the key substance of their DNA. The big question is, how big is the success? How profound is the impact? Avant Garde, at True Vision, will explore the world of these era-defining trendsetters and situate them within the broader dynamics of an ever-changing world. Welcome to what promises to be an exciting excursion into what can be considered as the mind of the future.
Okay, guys, welcome back from our break. We still have our guest in the house, Mr. Cyril Ibezim, and he's still with us. Okay, so we would like to ask you, what is the difference between the solar energy and the concept of clean energy? What's the difference?
Well, there is no, we shouldn't say different because solar energy is clean energy.
No, they're both together, they work together.
Not, they don't, solar energy is it comes from clean energy, in fact.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a question of, they are not, solar energy is a byproduct of clean energy.
Okay.
When you say clean energy, you're talking of energy that, like you turn on your generator and this generator is generator generates power, right?
Yeah.
But it's also emitting gas, which is not very safe. But solar energy doesn't emit energy. Generator, you can't call it clean energy. It's not clean.
Okay.
But solar energy is clean because there is no harm. There is nothing. It's harmless. It's noiseless. It's clean. It's clean. There is no harm to the environment.
All right. So would you say Nigeria as a country possesses the capacity to produce solar energy on its own?
Nigeria can stand as one of the top 10 countries in the world.
Really?
Well, yeah, when it comes to in terms of prospects, potentials, yes, we do. Is it arable land we have? Some power we have. So we have what it takes. We should be there. We should be there top stops when it comes to solar power installations. Yes.
Okay. So you feel that we are not really utilizing the equipment we have?
I feel that we're not ready for it.
Oh.
Not a question of utilizing. We're not ready for it. I feel that we're not. There is a long way to go. There is a lot of R&D that needs to go into it before we should even come to that.
So what are like the ideas if we want to venture into it?
Well, you want to venture into it, the first thing you want to start looking at, first of all, you want to start looking at what are the requirements.
Okay.
You want to start looking at what are the raw materials. Do we have them? You want to, because Nigeria is a country where everything is just resorted to importation. So, and we are not just going to, solar energy is not what you can just rush into.
You have to take your time.
You have to take your time. You have to, government has to come up with policies that is going to support even small businesses. So there is a lot that goes into it. You have to set up factories. You have to, of course, you set up factories. You have employed. You have improved labor. So you have to. It requires a lot of think tank into it, and you have to put the right people that can be able to come up with the right technology. But yes, we have. I believe that we have what it takes.
So we have what it takes to venture into it.
We do have what it takes to venture into it.
So do you think there are enough programs that enlightens people more on solar energy and everything that it has to do?
Well, I've not seen such. When you say enough, I've not even seen one. Really, I've not seen one because the only the enlightenment to people is only what comes from the private sector. I've not, in anything you want to do in a country, if the government is not involved yet, it doesn't reach across board. So we don't believe that it is only what the private sector is doing. For example, you see some of these companies going to radio stations to run ads or they do posters and all of that. So, but the government is not yet involved in all of that. The government is just involved in contracting and mini grid systems and whatnot. But we still don't have a solar street light installation. And at the end of the day, you install these things, there is no proper follow-up supervision to see that it's working fine. So contractor collects his money and everybody goes home.
So do you have any idea in mind, or you feel you'll be able to set up like a program for the younger ones to venture into what you do?
Well, I have my limitations.
What are the
No matter what you
limitations?
do, yeah, I'm just one unit. That's what I mean by
No,
that.
okay.
There is no way I can come up with a program that I can even reach even 5% of the population of Nigeria. So I will always take it back to the government still. I think that at the level with what is going on right now in solar energy and whatnot, the government should be looking to create a ministry for solar. Completely different. I don't. The Ministry of Power, I feel they are not doing enough.
Okay.
But you go to most of these ministries today, all of them are looking to push one or two projects on solar and whatnot. But there should be, that department or ministry whose major, job is to be focused on solar.
Yes.
There is a lot what we can do with solar. There is a lot. The government needs to start sensitizing people to, and also to start giving support, especially to small businesses, because they are mostly affected. Mostly those ones in the rural areas. There are a lot of underserved communities. There are a lot of communities that has not even been served by power at all. So the government needs to get involved. There is a little work the private sectors can do. And don't forget that we are in this for profit.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so just give us a little insight on how you started up your business and how the success has been so far.
wow, interesting. By business, what we do, Green Capital. Green Capital started as a thought process for me. I had always had it in mind. I was working with a popular company in Abuja here,
Okay.
and one time I was in Kaduna, 2011. There was
Okay.
this crisis, election crisis, so I was stuck in Kaduna. So I was in my hotel room, and a whole lot of things were just coming to my mind, and a lot of calls to be sure I was safe. But I was in my hotel room on one night, and then I decided to write a business plan. Because in the midst of the crisis, I was thinking for myself that if you get out of this, what next?
Yeah.
So, and I know I've always had this entrepreneurship mindset, so I decided to come up with a name first.
Okay.
And then so I came up with green, which is renewable,
Mm-hmm.
and then capital, which because I was resident in Abuja,
Yeah.
so that's why you have green capital.
Yeah.
So I came back immediately, and the first thing I wanted to do was to register it as an enterprise. I registered it and I kept that, and then after 2 years, I resigned from my job and then decided to start.
Wow.
And then we are here today.
Oh, so you're doing something before you went into your...
Yes, I was working. I had a white collar job. I was working,
Oh,
paid
wow.
paid job. So, but of course, I left and in 2013, and then I started Green Capital Energy.
Wow, that's very interesting. The name is very unique as well. So many people will see it and will not understand what it's really about. So that's why I asked for the breakdown.
Exactly.
Okay, that's very lovely. So what do you have to say to the younger ones out there who are looking to get one or two things to do?
Yes, to the younger ones out there, of course, I'm going to say the same thing I've always said to the younger folks that are very close to me. You have to start taking the bull by the horn at a very young age. You don't need to wait for things to happen for you to act.
Okay.
You have to be intentional about what you want to do. I have always been very intentional about what I wanted to do from a very young age.
Okay.
I have always not given up. I've always wanted to do stuff. I've always wanted to be busy. And I'll also say, especially to those that are in school, doing one or two courses, let me say professional courses, we should go to school with the mindset of coming out of school to, focus on what we are going to read. For example, you have someone that has gone to read mechanical engineering,
Yeah.
and then you have spent the whole 5 or 6 years to read that course, and then you come out, you want to go work in the bank. I mean, so you have everything, both practical theory and everything. Why don't you come out and set up a mechanic workshop? So it works very easy. So I would say to young folks, yes, the government has a lot to do,
Yes.
but when the government starts doing what our expectation, what we have been clamoring for, when the government starts doing these things, you need to position yourself as well so that you can, because if you're positioned now, when this thing starts coming up, you will be the most at an advantage to take advantage of these opportunities. The government will ask for professionals and whatnot. So, and you have read this thing, this is what you know how to do, this is what you have gone to learn, you have spent 5, 6 years of schooling while doing that. So everything just clicks. Why should I go to study accounting and then I come out and I shouldn't be able to? So there are some courses you study, you should come out immediately and get into the commercial sector and start doing something for
For
yourself.
yourself.
So the younger ones should have. I also want to say this, in taking a clue from what's happening in China and America. So the younger folks should start having this entrepreneurship mindset.
Okay.
Be creative about and intentional about whatever you want to do,
Mm.
because entrepreneurship has a long way to go. Has a long way to also push the younger ones.
Mm.
I recall when I resigned from what I was doing. I resigned not because I had enough, not because I was financially ready, but I thought that I had the experience for me to be able to delve into this and to be able to survive in it. I resigned because I had the experience to start the business, not because I had the money. So
That's
I will
nice.
also say that the younger ones should also look out for opportunities to learn. Today, you see a young chap come to the office for interview and they ask
Yeah.
him, all they want to know about is the salary. They don't,
They
they
don't
don't
even know
care about
what it
what they are
entails.
supposed to learn
Yeah.
and the opportunities out there for them.
Very true. Well, thank you very much for coming on our show with
Thank
us.
you.
We are very happy that you came
I'm
here.
happy to be
So,
here.
guys, that's a wrap on the show today. We'll see you all next week. My name is Jenny Marcus. Thank you.